Thank you so much for carving out this time to speak with us. So I want to talk big picture because you referenced it towards the end of your speech. Right now, pretty much every major poll, mainstream polling, shows you leading in the 6 or 7 states that will likely determine this presidential race. So I want you to take me behind the curtain of your campaign and explain to me your strategy to maintain your lead with independent and undecided voters while at the same time making a dent in deep blue states like here in New York that you didn't win last time.
Well, I think really what the strategy is to talk about the 4 years we had. We're the greatest economy ever. We rebuilt our military. We had the biggest tax cuts, bigger than the Ronald Reagan tax cuts. The things we've done are pretty monumental things. Almost nobody, even with an 8-year term, has done what we did. Biggest regulation cuts, biggest tax cuts, Space Force. We rebuilt our entire military. We had no wars other than I defeated ISIS. I defeated ISIS, and everybody said, that would take years. It took me 1.5 months. We have an incredible military, and it's not going woke, except some fools at the top. We have a great, great military. We did it in 1.5 months. Totally defeated ISIS, 100%. So they see what happened. They see things that we did on a medical basis. The vets see what I've done for the vets. We had the highest approval rating in history, 92% approval rating with our vets, the Veterans Administration. And they look at that, and that's basically what I talk about. You know, much easier than the first time, because the first time I said, I will do things. But we did all those things and much more. We had the safest border in the history of our country, and now we have the worst border in history. We will make it safe again, and it'll be safe again very quickly.
A big night last night. Nikki Haley making her first public remarks since dropping out of the race. She said that Joe Biden has been a catastrophe, and she said she's voting for you. I'm sure those were welcome remarks for you, but it also left a lot of people wondering, is there room for her on your team, or better yet, your ticket?
Well, I think she's going to be on our team because we have a lot of the same ideas, the same thoughts. I appreciated what she said. You know, we had a nasty campaign. It was pretty nasty, but she's a very capable person, and I'm sure she's going to be on our team in some form. Absolutely.
So if not Nikki, then who? Let's make some news tonight, you and I, for your hometown TV station. Share with me your top 3 candidates for your running mate at this point.
Well, we have so many. I don't want to do that, but we have so many. You could take people like Ben Carson. You could take people like Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. I mean, there are so many. Elisa's doing a fantastic job. But I could go on for quite a long time. We have many people that would do a really fantastic job.
Do you have a timeline on when you'll make the decision?
I think sometime during the convention.
Okay, and you're also, going back to the polling, you're making a lot of ground with Latino voters, which of course make up more than half the vote here in the Bronx, a voting bloc that is traditionally skewed blue. What do you attribute this shift to, and do you see that support as critical to the campaign?
Well, when you have somebody like tonight, we had Ruben Diaz Sr., who's one of the most respected Hispanics in the country, come out and just give us a full-throated endorsement. That's a big thing. But we've been doing very well. We did well in the last 2 elections, actually. So there seems to be a kind of a relationship that I have with the Hispanics. They're very entrepreneurial people, very smart, very energetic, and they like me, and I like them.
And since you mentioned the migrant crisis during your speech as well, since there have been an arrival of thousands and thousands of migrants to the tri-state area, it has led to undoubtedly an economic, a social, humanitarian crisis here. If elected, what actions will you take on that front?
We're going to have no choice. We have many criminals coming in. They're coming from all over the world, not just from South America. And they're coming out of jails and prisons. They're coming out of mental institutions and insane asylums, and there are many terrorists. And we have to take them out. We have to get them out of the country. We have to deport them. No country can withstand. This is an assault. It's an invasion. We are being invaded by millions of people. I think you have 16, 17 million people. That's bigger than almost any state. And it's not sustainable. And we will be doing a large deportation, especially immediately with the criminals. When you have people that are murderers being let out of jails and they're being put into the United States, bad things are going to happen.
I'm told I have one question left, so let me just ask you briefly about your unprecedented trial, closing arguments in just a few days from now. What do you expect the outcome of all of this will be?
Well, we have a perfect case. Every single lawyer and legal expert, every one of them, scholars, Alan Dershowitz, John Turley, you take a look, Jonathan Turley, every single one, Andy McCarthy, Mark Levin, Greg Jarrett, the biggest, the best, Every single one of them said there was no crime. He did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. This is a political hoax. This is a way to try and help Biden get elected because he's incompetent and unable to run on his own. And I can tell you, we have a judge who's highly conflicted, very, very conflicted, like probably no other judge anytime, anywhere. We have a perfect case. There is no crime. There's nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong. Other people did things wrong, but we did nothing wrong. But you have a conflicted judge. He should have recused himself. He should be taken out by the appellate division. I don't know that they do that, but it's very bad for our country. But every single legal scholar of note in the country says this is something. And by the way, if it was brought, it should have been brought 7 years ago, not in the middle of my campaign.